Milwaukee will likely be counting absentee ballots late into the night once again this fall. This past week, Senate Republicans killed legislation that would have allowed election officials to start counting absentee ballots the day before Election Day, a move that is allowed in 37 other states. In 2020, the late night counting fueled claims of ballot dumps and voter fraud. Milwaukee County Clerk George Christensen is standing by to react to this. But first, Matt is back on how we got here.
The Republican support was growing from Senator Ron Johnson.
The state legislature ought to pass a law that allows Milwaukee to count those absentee ballots ahead of time.
To Assembly Speaker Robin Vos.
Just because I support something doesn't mean I can snap my fingers and make it happen.
The process, though, got a bit messy. Both chambers passed the provision at one point this session that would have allowed election officials to start counting absentee ballots the day before Election Day. Assembly Republicans adding it as an amendment to another election bill.
Under what conditions would need to be in place for you to sign that?
Depends what bill they throw it into.
But needing final approval from the Senate on the final day of session this past week, signs emerged of the strong backroom pressure to kill it.
There is, quite frankly, some misinformation out there, but nevertheless, the public had a concern, so we're back to ground zero with ballot drops, with the bill being pulled off the calendar, but the people spoke.
State Representative Janelle Branchin, chair of the Assembly Elections Committee, saying in a statement, the bill gives bad actors an extra day to cheat, and there doesn't seem to be any chance of anyone being held responsible. And the feud spilled over onto Twitter. Republican gubernatorial candidate Kevin Nicholson saying, glad the grassroots stopped the bill. Rep. Vos, his Madison machine, and my primary opponent were wrong in supporting this. Vos shooting back, it just shows how cynical and desperate Nicholson is. This should have broad bipartisan support.
George Christensen is the Milwaukee County Clerk, and he's joining us now. Thank you for being with us to talk about this.
Happy to be here.
Now, I just want to start with the fact that you're in favor of counting ballots early. Why?
Well, first of all, Adrian, it's a bipartisan bill that has broad support, and the idea for our election processes are to make them as efficient as possible. And on election night, after the polls close, there is an expectation by the public to know who won. And when you have large amounts of absentee ballots that need to be processed, currently they can only be processed by municipalities when the polls open at 7 a.m. So if you have hundreds of thousands, just physically it can't be done until it's done, which, as we know in 2020, wasn't done until about 4 in the morning. And so this would just help make the process more efficient and satisfy what the public is seeking, is to know the results, soon thereafter the polls close.
And while it does have some bipartisan support, you also just heard there in Matt's story some Republicans saying that they're now against it. Their concerns involving fears of leaked results early, and that the bill does not require enough scrutiny of the people who count the ballots. Are those concerns valid?
No, not at all, because I wish some of those fringe elements of the Republican Party actually read the bill and understood it, because it provides Class 1 felonies for any sort of nefarious activity, willfully divulging results early and so on and so forth. And furthermore, within the bill, it was set up to where you cannot tally results. You're just processing the results, but you're not tallying the results. So there's no way to do that. And then there's just a whole chain of custody within there, sealing the machines and so on and so forth. I mean, the bill was well thought out, and quite frankly, again, it was introduced by LeMahieu, and who's the Republican. So I mean, this was a Republican-led bill.
And without counting these ballots early, what does that mean for future elections?
Well, it just means, as it seems in today's modern day with the pandemic and how people are shifting their voting habits, we're going to continue to see more absentee ballots. And so it will, again, put more pressure on our election workers to process these ballots, and it'll keep them well past when the polls close. So again, this is really just putting more pressure on our election workers under extreme circumstances, whereas this could have been a really easy fix. And as you mentioned, 37 other states have this, including two what I consider to be very red states, Florida and Arizona. And so it works just perfectly there. And so I don't understand why some Republicans don't get it.
Well, and given the fact that the bill didn't pass, is there anything you can do, you think, to alleviate these kind of late night ballot dumps? Because, I mean, you, as local election officials, you had told the local media here that this would happen, that the ballots would be counted overnight. But even on a national scale, there was word of this ballot dump. So is there any way to try to stop that without this bill? Anything else you can do?
Well, really the only solution would be to hire more election workers at the municipal level. And that's a problem because our election worker population is getting older. There doesn't seem to be as much interest from the younger generation on that. In addition, people are scared. People are not only scared of the pandemic, but they're also now scared about of being targeted or put in jail or physically harmed because of the this fringe element of the Republican Party who has continued to perpetuate the big lie. And I've had threats against my life, and so they're scared. So I just don't see how that's going to work. Really, we needed this piece of legislation to help get the process started a little bit earlier.
All right, George Christensen, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, boxed out of the district and the plea to the Supreme Court.